Hey everyone, welcome back to In the Cup. We're here for another week. First, I would like to start this episode by wishing my friend Amanda here a very happy birthday. Golf clap for you,
Yay!
Amanda, for your birthday. I hope it's
Thank you.
special, although you are probably freezing because you are in the polar ice vortex that has taken over the United States this weekend.
Sure
How are
did.
you surviving, first and foremost?
I really went back and forth between, was I underprepared? Was I overprepared? Because the storm kept going a bunch of different directions. And we were very much overprepared.
I guess it's better to be over-prepared than
Yeah,
be stuck.
100%. I mean, we didn't lose any power, which was nice. Not like the last time we recorded this. And I did lose power, but I mean, it's sunny out and it's like almost 40 degrees, so everything's basically melted already.
That's good. Yeah, I saw
Yeah.
that. I think 100 million, not 100 million, that
Yeah.
can't be right. Maybe 100,000 people were out of power, mostly in more of like the deep south, Texas,
Yeah. And
where they're,
Nashville got hit
yes,
hard.
I saw that. Bunch of trees in the roads, exploding trees, which is apparently a thing. Didn't realize the
Apparently,
sap in the bark.
yeah, that's what they were saying we were going to get hit with all of this ice and trees exploding and
Yeah.
transformers blowing up. But no, nothing happened. And this morning I drained my bathtub that I filled with water just
Yeah.
in case.
Yeah. It's tricky living in Boston for so long and you hear a snowstorm coming. Although New Englanders are they just
Yeah.
roll with the punches. I always wondered because people always say get the milk and the bread. And I'm thinking, why are we getting perishables? If your
Right.
fridge is going to go out, why are we buying milk?
It
It's not
doesn't make
gonna,
sense.
yeah. But
It
anyways,
doesn't make sense. But we
I think
have
Boston did get,
survived.
yeah, I think Boston did get almost 2 feet,
Yeah.
at least a foot and a half. Yeah.
The
Meanwhile,
Northeast did
here,
get slammed. And
mean
how is it in
in
California?
sunny California, I did play my first round of golf this weekend,
Yeah.
and it was an early tee time, 7:30 tee time. My hands were popsicles starting the round, and then by the back nine, it was 70 and sunny, and I was wearing too many layers. So,
Love
we're
that for you.
sitting pretty here in Southern California. I
How
think
was
if you
it
were
to play?
it was good. More good shots than bad shots, but
Good.
definitely things that need to be improved upon, which
Mm-hmm.
is why the lessons are coming in handy. The one thing that I need to stop doing is trying to change my swing and stuff in the middle of the round because
Yeah.
then I get in my head and try and fix things, and
Yep.
it's probably the worst thing you can do. All the pros say like get your reps in and stuff at the range, and by the time you get to the course it should be automatic, like you shouldn't be trying to make any major changes during the round. So I think I just need to stop doing that. But it was fun. Played it with my friend Peter,
Love that.
rando that I met one day, playing another
Thanks,
round.
Peter.
But I just gather golf friends along the way. The San
I
Diego
love that.
golf community is pretty nice. There hasn't been anyone that I've played with that is like a hardo on the course
Yeah.
that takes it too seriously. They're all pretty welcoming, especially as a female. It's nice to not have the anxiety and whatnot. So
Yeah. I feel like golf is one of the only sports where you can literally just pick it up with a stranger
yeah,
and play the whole round.
yeah, it's been good. Sometimes there's people that take it too seriously, like they think they're trying to get on the tour or something, but there hasn't been too many, thank God.
That's good.
So yeah. And if you couldn't tell by my nasally voice, I can't tell if it's sinuses or I'm getting a cold. There's a ton of people sick right now. But that is why today in my cup, I have some nice lemon ginger tea in my mug that says I would rather be in bed because
Yes.
that is how I feel right now. I would much
Yeah.
rather be in bed currently.
Always.
Just trying to load up on the warm liquids.
Well,
What do you have today?
for me, I have a nice ice cold Diet Coke. My favorite. I need a little bit more
All of our
caffeine
favorites.
this afternoon. And instead of just drinking alcohol or coffee, I'm just gonna stick with my Diet Coke today.
Did it come from a can or a bottle?
So, hot take. I had my husband go out and get me a large Diet Coke from McDonald's.
The best. I love this for you. A McDonald's Diet
Yeah.
Coke is the ultimate
Yes.
Diet Coke experience. Unless you get it from a bottle from Mexico or Europe where
Correct.
they make it differently with the different sugar, but
Mhm.
here in America, a McDonald's Diet Coke
It is
is definitely the way
elite.
to go. It's the
Yes.
A+ plus Diet Coke experience. So,
It sure is.
all right. Well, let's get into it. I got my note cards ready. A lot of topics. One of the things when we started this, we were thinking, what are we going to talk about? And I feel like every week there's too many topics now. Mm. And maybe it's because it's January. In the NFL, we have our Super Bowl teams. We have the New England Patriots. We have the
Mhm.
Seattle Seahawks, which is a rematch of the 2014 Super Bowl. If you all remember, I'm sure Seahawks fans remember vividly, but it was the Super Bowl where Mr. Wilson decided to throw a pass on the 1 yard line. It got intercepted, and Tom Brady got another Super Bowl. So probably a little PTSD there, but they did look good yesterday. That
Yeah.
Rams Seahawks game was good. A
It
couple of
was.
questionable out of bounds calls, but
Mhm.
it is what it is.
Yeah.
The Patriots went to Denver. The weather turned very quickly there. It
Yeah.
was it was cold, and then all of a sudden you see flurries, and then a few minutes later the whole field's covered in snow.
Yeah. And then they're taking out the blowers
Yeah.
to make sure you can see the lines. I'm like, it literally turned into just a cold January day to a blizzard
Yeah.
within minutes.
Yeah, and both teams are used to playing in snow, which was and maybe they just weren't, they're in the game, so they weren't
Yeah.
super prepared for it, but they were slipping and sliding all over the
Uh-huh.
place. But I did notice that the TV coverage had the lines. They had like the AI lines
Yeah.
so that you could see, but when you look on the field,
I
the
have no
players could
idea.
not see the lines. But you know who was living her best
Mm,
life after the game? Cardi B.
she
She
sure
was
was.
just all about her man,
Mhm.
Stefan. She was living it up after the game. The party bus after, they interviewed her going back into the tunnel. She was on the field at one point.
Mhm.
So Cardi B was having a time on Sunday.
She's ready for the Super Bowl. I'm excited to see her fit for that day.
Yeah.
And what she decides to go with, and if she decides to wear, like, a wig a different color
Mm,
or to match or something like
yeah.
that. Like, I feel like she just goes is elaborate with all of it, so I'm pumped.
Yeah, I did see something too, because I think her and Bad Bunny have a song. I can't think of the name of it off the top of my head. And it's probably too late to like incorporate her into the performance, but it would be a moment.
Yeah,
But I am
we'll
excited for
see.
Benito Bowl as well. I love Bad Bunny. And it's just,
I'm
has good hype music. It's
He
going to
does.
be good. Yeah.
It's gonna be entertaining, and at the end of the day, that's what the Super Bowl halftime is for. I'm very much looking forward to that and the commercials. I feel
Yeah.
like we've already started to get some teasers of some Super Bowl commercials, which I feel like we didn't really get last year.
Yeah.
I was a little bit disappointed in the 2025 Super Bowl commercials, but
Mm.
we'll see if they redeem themselves this year.
Yeah, I did see a lot of Uber Eats commercials. Did
Yeah,
you see that with Matthew McConaughey? And there was one with, gosh, Bradley Cooper. And then there were a couple of others, but Uber Eats, they're probably going to have a couple during the Super Bowl.
their
But I
marketing
know,
team is working overtime.
yeah,
They're mad that DoorDash is getting all of their
yeah. Well, I use both equally, whoever has the better
yeah.
deals. Although I've seen that Uber Eats, they have a lot more service fees now than DoorDash. If you go in and look at Uber Eats, they have so many more fees than DoorDash, and I don't appreciate that. Yeah. Also, in the NFL, in the latest coaching
Yeah.
carousel, a lot of movement there. I
Mhm.
actually wrote down a little diagram for us so we can keep track of all the movements, but I'll start again with your New York Football Giants,
Yes.
who got John Harbaugh as their new head coach, previously head coach of the Ravens. The
Mhm.
Ravens hired Jesse Minter, who is the defensive coordinator of the Chargers. And I was just thinking about this. Jim Harbaugh, John's brother, is head
Mhm.
coach of the Chargers. So I wonder if he had any influence in that decision making. Cannot
Sure.
confirm nor deny, but it was an interesting connection.
Yeah.
And then our favorite, Mike McDaniel.
Did not
He
come to the Panthers.
did not go to the Panthers, but he did become the new offensive coordinator for the Chargers. And then the Miami Dolphins hired the Packers defensive coordinator as their head coach.
Hmm.
Down in Hotlanta, which was not so hot this
Mm-mm.
weekend, they hired a Kevin Stefanski from the Cleveland Browns, which was an interesting departure because I think he got Coach of the Year 2 years before that for
Mhm.
the on the Browns. And they also took their offensive coordinator. So the Falcons have the
Interesting.
Cleveland head coach and the offensive coordinator. And then the Steelers, with the departure of Tomlin, they hired Mike McCarthy, former head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. Womp womp.
Mhm.
And then there are still some notable head coaching vacancies open. The Bills, most notably, Philip Rivers, who decided to roll out of bed one day and become a quarterback again. Um, he actually interviewed for that head coaching position, but he just withdrew from that. So I don't know what went into
Interesting.
that decision, but he withdrew his name. And then also the Raiders, the Cardinals, Browns also need head coaches. So I'm sure there will be
Hmm.
more shuffling around
Yeah.
over the next couple of weeks.
I'm I'm interested to see how all of this shakes out because I feel like this is the most head coaching shakeups that the NFL has had in a while.
Yeah. I think
But
mainly because there's a lot of coaches that have been like Tomlin, like Harbaugh, who had been with their teams for so long, and then now they're, well, either by choice or not by choice, but are vacating those positions.
yeah.
So it's creating a little bit more shuffle,
Mhm.
I guess. But yeah,
We'll see.
there'll definitely be more movement over the next couple weeks, I'm
Yeah.
sure. So
I'm sure, and I'm sure there's gonna be a bunch of curveballs. I wanna look up the Philip Rivers situation and do a little bit more research on that of, like, why did he just throw his name in the hat randomly for that and withdrawing? Because when he just decided one day of, like, "I'm gonna go be a quarterback again," I was looking into it because, again, who just wakes up and does that, right? But he
yeah,
has
at
so many
40 or 42,
right.
he was, yeah,
He has so
older for what
many
a quarterback should be.
children, and I guess once you leave the NFL, you're still on the NFL benefits for X amount of years, and all you have to do is, like, play 1 game, and then it, like, restarts. So, I'm almost thinking that's why he came back to get
Possibly, but he must have a good amount of money saved up to be able to pay for his, I think he
you
has like 9 kids, but and one of
I
them is an adult now.
yeah,
That's
I
interesting
mean,
though.
he has 10 kids.
He's a
10
grandpa.
kids. The oldest was born in 2002, and the youngest was born in 2023.
Wow. So he has
That's
anywhere
wild.
from like a mid 20-year-old to a toddler,
Yeah.
which is insane. But going back to the coaching thing, he was coaching in between when he retired. So he was a long time with the Chargers. He played for the Colts for 1 year and then he
Mhm.
retired. He actually retired officially as a Charger because he went back for the 1 day sign, whatever.
Mhm.
And then he went into coaching. I don't know at what level he was coaching, but he was coaching during that time. So him going into a coaching role isn't
A huge shock.
out of left
Yeah.
field, but just the sequencing of events.
Yeah. It was more shocking for him, I guess, to come back and play than for him to put his name in the hat to be
Yeah.
a coach.
Yeah, true. But yeah, so we'll see what shakes and bakes over the next couple of
Yeah.
weeks. One topic I want to talk about is the girlies are
Yeah.
doing some great things over the last few days. Going back to our tennis, our Australian Open, we have 4 American women in the quarterfinals, and it makes me sad that a few of them have to play each other. So
Yeah.
Coco Gauff, who's number 3 in the world, Jessica Pegula, Eva Jovic, and
Mhm.
Amanda Anisimova. Jessica Pegula had to play Madison Keys, who is also an American and actually won last year's Aussie Open to get into the quarters. And then Jess and Eva have to play each other in the quarters. No, sorry. Jess and Amanda have to play each other, I think, in the
Mhm.
quarters. But I guess that shows that American tennis on the women's side is coming up because they're playing
Mhm.
each other. And
Yeah.
then we have 2 American, side note, of the girly section. We have two American males who made it to the quarters, Ben Shelton and Leonard Tien. But yeah, the American women are showing
I
out
love that. I love that.
the last few years.
I feel like they're the more and more I feel like we're just hearing more and more about women's tennis. And I feel like the same thing with LPGA. It just there we've had so many powerful, great females in these sports and be able to, kind of create the next phase for the next generation. And they're killing it. It's awesome to be able to see.
And for those who don't know, Jessica Pegula's family actually owns the Buffalo Bills. So she's a huge Bills fan. One moment that I did love from the Aussie Open, so Coco Gauff played another American, Haley Baptiste, a few days ago, and Coco lost the first set. She came back to win. But either in the middle of the second or third set, there was a fan that said, who yelled out, "We have faith in you, Haley." And then another fan responded saying, "No one else does," which is very rude and unnecessary. But
Yeah.
during Coco's courtside interview after she won, she addressed it saying, like, to the fan who said this, "Haley is a competitor. We're all trying our best out here." So I love the
Yeah.
girls moment. And Coco has
Yeah.
always been, she's only 21, but she handles press conferences
Mhm.
very well. One of the best out of anyone that I've
Yeah.
seen, just very mature for her age and just having all that pressure at a
Yeah.
young age and to be the next Serena and all that. She
Yeah.
handles press conferences very well, so I love that moment.
I love that. I mean, I've been a Coco fan for
Yeah.
a little bit now, but I think it popped up for me on Instagram, and it's just fun to that fan. If you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. I feel like we all learned that when we were children,
Some better than
and
others.
some better than others, and people seem to have forgotten that. No, I think we need more of it. We need more women supporting women. We need
Mhm.
more people being able, like Coco, just like you don't have to go out of your way to make this big, huge statement and do this whole
Yeah.
elaborate thing. Like
Mhm.
she addressed it professionally. She went
Mhm.
on with her day, and I think that just shows more of a leader
Yep.
than any.
Just being brave enough to say
Yeah.
something and defend her friend because her and Haley are friends.
Yeah.
They've played each other, I think, coming up through juniors and whatnot. So, yeah, just doing the right thing, being a good person, being kind is
Be
what we need right
kind.
now. Be kind.
Yes.
That's the message of today's
Mm,
podcast. Be kind,
and
people.
drink to that.
Yeah. Cheers. I still rather be in bed.
Yes.
Except when we're doing this, because I love doing this. One of the biggest stories out of the last few days, our girl, Trinity Rodman, re-signing with the Washington Spirit. She is now the highest paid women's soccer player in the world. I had to go
Mhm.
back and check, not just the
Yep.
United States, in the
The
world. And if you don't know Trinity Rodman's story, she was a standout high school soccer player here in Southern California. She committed to play at Washington State for college. However, her freshman year was the COVID year. So since they didn't play after that, she decided to declare for the NWSL, National Women's Soccer League, draft. She got drafted by the Washington Spirit, and in her rookie year, helped them win their first title.
Mhm.
She also helped the U.S. women's team win the gold medal in the Paris Olympics.
Yep.
And now she's the highest paid soccer player in the
Yeah.
world.
She's 23 years old. Like, that's insane. I mean, and I know we've been talking all things Cali for golf, but she's a Cali girl through and
Yeah.
through, and
Representing.
she's representing. But it was interesting. I was doing some research on just the women's soccer league because I don't
Hmm.
know a ton of the ins and outs. I know I watched the Premier League and men's soccer with my husband, but um
Avid soccer fan.
yeah, big time.
Very avid soccer fan.
Very much so. But so this was all possible because there was a new salary cap
Yeah.
passed at the end of the year, and it is now allowing teams to spend up to $1 million over
It's the cap.
salary cap to take on star players like Trinity. So I just think, that hasn't ever been a topic of conversation or even, anything that was brought to the table in let's switch this up or let's change this to make it better for our players and for the sport. And especially with all of the noise around the US women's soccer team over the last
Mhm.
several years, I think this is just going to put them so much further along in this journey, which is gonna be awesome.
Yeah, I read his reading about this too. It's the high impact player agreement. And I think Trinity is making I think it's 1 million base, but it's 2 million a year including bonuses. So she has the potential to make up to 2 million a year. Probably makes a ton on the
Endorsement.
sponsorships. I follow her on social media and I
Mhm,
just love that she wants to be a good role model, especially for young women and girls who are not just playing soccer, but all over, especially
mhm.
kids who look like her, right? Who don't always have the opportunities that are afforded to other folks. So I just like that she's trying to be a good role model to the next generation because when we were growing up, it makes it sound so old. When we were growing up, it
Drink
was
on that one.
the Alex Morgans, who just recently retired a couple years ago,
Yeah.
Megan Rapinoe, Abby
Mhm,
Wambach generation, and now Trinity is representing that next generation of women's soccer players. So, and I'm glad they did. I think the commissioner said one of the reasons why they were trying to, because she was in this contract dispute for a while, but
mhm.
they didn't want her to go play in Europe
Yeah,
because that would take a big star out of the United States. So I think
yeah.
that definitely went from a business standpoint. That's kind of what went into it as well. So I think, yes, in soccer as in golf. One story I did not like related to the Trinity Rodman signing, I saw an article on LinkedIn that Boardroom posted, and I was looking at the comments, and there were a couple of comments from males
Of
who
course.
commented, "Let's congratulate Dennis Rodman, blah, blah." And if you
No.
didn't know, Trinity Rodman is the biological daughter of Dennis Rodman, who played for the Bulls, NBA star. But she recently went on Call Her Daddy, the podcast, a few months ago, and basically said Dennis Rodman was an absent father. Her mom and her brother and her, they were living out of their car, living in motels. He pops in and out of her life. A lot of psychological damage, mental health
Mhm.
damage caused by that. So the fact that they're commenting, well, let's congratulate Dennis didn't do anything for
No.
her. She did everything on her own with the support of her mother and other family members. She earned her own way. Granted, people obviously will use the Rodman name for clicks, but in the grand
Mhm.
scheme of things, she earned what she earned on her own. She went out there and proved herself to be a star player, and now she's getting
Yeah.
rewarded for it. So I think we can minimize the Dennis Rodman narrative.
Yeah. No, and I just feel like every time, not every time, but there's a decent amount of times where young women or just women in general go and make a name for themselves. And it's always, oh, well, we should thank this person, or we
Yeah.
should thank their father. We should thank their, like, they did it. Like, yes, she might have the same last name as him and they have blood, but like, he didn't help raise her. Also,
Yeah.
let's remember, he has a crazy history too, and maybe
Yes, I remember
crazy
all
is
of the Carmen Electra
like,
headlines from the late 90s.
and maybe crazy is a bad way of explaining it, but that's the only thing that comes to mind right now of, like,
Eccentric,
eccentric, like,
big personality.
went back when she
Yeah,
was growing up, he was busy. He was booked and busy doing whatever he was doing.
yeah,
So, I hate when people, especially older men, take away
yeah.
the shine from females and women, especially when they've worked their butts off for it.
So let's just give Trinity her flowers.
Mhm.
Let's congratulate her on this really amazing golf clap for
Yes,
Trinity on
girl,
this
yes.
amazing accomplishment, and we'll just leave it at that because she
Mhm.
did the dang thing without
She sure did.
without we will not mention his name.
Yeah.
So on the topic of girls, on a more somber note, I did want to recognize that this week is the 6-year anniversary of the passing of Kobe Bryant and his daughter Gianna, as well as 7 others who were in that helicopter, the Chesters, the Altabelli, Christina Mauser, and Aria, who is the pilot of the helicopter.
Yeah.
Kobe Bryant was always so proud to be a girl dad, and he would always get questions of, "Well, don't you want a boy? Who's gonna carry on your legacy?" And he just kinda brushed those to the side, and he said Gigi wanted to kinda
Mhm.
take that torch and be the basketball player in the family, but his wife Vanessa ever since has been keeping up his I
Yeah.
mean, even if she didn't, people would remember Kobe Bryant for years and
Yeah.
years to come, but she has made it her mission to make sure that Kobe's legacy kind of lives on and all of the community work that they've done, the girl dad,
Mhm.
supporting women in sports. I just wanted to bring because Kobe, as you know, is my favorite NBA player. I actually have
Yeah.
his numbers tattooed. Oh, you can't
Yeah.
see it on my wrist here with one of his quotes. So while we're on the topic of supporting women, I just wanted to bring that up.
Yeah. I feel like I can't believe it was 6 years ago. Like,
Yeah,
that I mean, granted, it was my birthday, so
yeah,
I know exactly where I was at that moment when this news broke, right? And,
yeah.
like, who I was with, and it was just I mean, it's still so sad.
When I watch the footage, I still cry
I like,
because
just
it's
you
just
talking
one of
about it, I'm
those
like, "Am I gonna
people. I
tear
know.
up?"
Me too.
But he was just such an influential person on so many different ways, and I think to your point, he raised, with his wife, such strong women. I follow, obviously, his one daughter, Natalia,
Mhm.
now, and she's been crushing it. Like,
Yeah.
she graduated from USC,
Modeling, yeah.
she's modeling, she's doing all this, like, stuff in fashion, and
I think film stuff too. She's done, like, these short, film clip things, yeah.
yeah, but I feel like as much as you know the Bryant name and will always remember the Bryant name, they do such a good job to carry on the legacy, but still fly under the radar of
Yeah,
staying humble, not using it to their, I don't wanna say advantage, but
yeah.
because I
There will
feel like
always be advantages
there
that come
always
with the
be.
name, whether it's
Right.
advertent or inadvertent, because playing the narrative of the media, they see the
Mhm.
Bryants, they're like, "Oh, well, let's invite the Bryants because more people will watch." So there is that. We're not gonna deny that there's not that aspect, but there are
Mm,
people who will be the complete opposite and completely take advantage of it. Oh, like, be like, "Oh, I'm Kobe Bryant's daughter. I should get this and this and this." There's the privileged ones, I
right.
guess.
Yeah, well, and that's, like, we hear about nepo babies and all that
Yeah.
other stuff, and I feel like there's yes, you can be a nepo baby, but if you act like a nepo baby versus you just are, I think those are 2 very different things. If you act like a nepo baby, you have attitude, you use that negatively to your advantage, you think
Mhm.
you're privileged, all that other stuff.
Yeah. "Do you know who my father is?" Or
Yeah.
because there are
"Do you know
people who
who
do
I
that.
am?"
Yeah.
Like, "No,
So it's
I
how you
don't."
use the privilege and the power, right, at the
Right.
end of the day. So,
Yeah.
on that note, the one of the biggest stories in the
Yeah.
headlines, well, the social media headlines the last week is the whole Brooklyn Beckham situation with
Well,
Posh and David Beckham.
speaking of privilege and power, yeah. What are your thoughts on all of this? I know we were sending a bunch of stuff back and forth to each other because 'cause I'm like,
I
"Who
love
do
the
I
memes. The
believe?"
memes have been great, especially from Victoria at the wedding. Right now, I still think it's a big he said, she said.
Mhm.
I will say I'm on Victoria and David's side as
Same,
of right now. I will just say it,
same,
whatever. But
same.
I do think it's a big he said, she said because he came out with this big thing. There's people that are disputing that there's accounts of interactions with his wife, but then there's also stuff against the Beckhams. So I don't think anyone really actually knows. And if you think you do, you probably
Yeah.
don't unless you are in the Beckham household.
Right.
But yeah, and I mean, even David came out and said sometimes your
Your kids
your
make
child, yeah, yeah.
mistakes.
So
I
who
mean,
knows what's going on? in that
Yeah.
household. I do think that that statement did more harm to him than
Mhm.
good.
I
And
agree.
people saying that they're a PR powerhouse, they had to be a PR
Mhm.
powerhouse. They still are two of the most
Yeah.
famous people in the world. And when they had Brooklyn, David was at the peak of his career. He was still with Manchester. He
Mhm.
was the top of the soccer world. Maybe not so much here in the United States. Like I knew about David Beckham, but
Yeah.
over in Europe, it was David Beckham. And then when he
Mhm.
came to play here in LA, more so of a bigger name. But
Yeah. And
yeah,
I feel like
I don't
that's
I
the
don't know.
same thing for Victoria, right? Like people knew of the Spice Girls in Europe, but until they really came and did their North America tour and all of that, obviously it made her insanely, insanely famous. And the two of them together. I mean, listen, I've watched the documentary. Like I
Which one? Victoria's or the Beckham one before?
both actually.
Yeah, I've watched both too.
Yeah. And I feel like there's two things that can be true, unfortunately. I mean, I think it's both parties can either be right or both parties can be wrong. And to your point there, you're never going to know unless you're actually in it. But I do think the statement that he put out did a lot more harm than he
Hmm.
anticipated. I've also
Yeah.
seen and read a lot of the pushback that it was Nicola who wrote the statement, not him. And because who knows, there could be a multiple
And
different
she comes from a
reasons.
very rich, powerful family as
Yes.
well. So while they're not the forefront of the story, they do have a stake in
Uh-huh.
the press and the negativity and the stories that come out. So
Yeah.
maybe they're not, again, the forefront as the Beckhams are, but they do have a stake in the game.
Yeah. And maybe that's just it, right? Two very well-known families are just at it, right? And listen, I feel like a lot of famous children have some sort of resentment towards their parents. And I think it could either be you have a lot of resentment and you're going to go completely against them, or it's, they're involved and they were supportive and they helped you be able to know how to be humble. And like those are things you don't learn, right? Especially when you're used to paparazzi everywhere and chasing you and all of the things. So,
And at the time, again, the paparazzi has always been crazy, but they were getting
yeah.
chased all around everywhere they
Yeah.
went. When Brooklyn was a toddler and a baby, they were trying to protect him from all of
Mhm.
that. There's a lot of different angles. It's interesting to see how various kids of high profile athletes, the most
Mhm.
glaring, obviously, in golf is Charlie Woods, who is good at golf. So it's a
Yeah.
little easier for him. But there's also, when you're good at golf, then it's like, oh, well, your father is Tiger Woods. Are you going to hit his records? Are you going to play
Right.
as well? So it's
Don't
kind of
compare
a
me.
lose-lose.
Yeah.
And they have to, especially with social media now, it's just interesting to see how they kind of tune out the noise and how the parents guide them
Mhm.
through, again, various different angles and
Yeah.
different situations that we see out there right now. But
Yeah.
an interesting topic.
It is. It is. And let me say, the paparazzi in the early 90s and 2000s were a time.
Yeah.
That was peak paparazzi
I mean, Princess Diana.
craziness. Yeah. Princess Diana, Britney Spears,
Yeah.
the Beckhams.
We could talk. Brittany warrants her own episode because we can go down so many different avenues with Britney
Correct.
Spears. But
Correct.
yeah,
But anywho,
to the golf,
yeah.
which is why, well, maybe some of us are here. Others might be here for the golf adjacent topics, but to the golf this
Yes.
week, we are here in sunny San Diego. It's going to be 70 degrees here for the tournament this year, which I'm very excited about. But the
Beautiful.
Farmers Insurance Open is here this
Mhm.
weekend. When you mentioned about what's the Hilton Head one? The RBC.
Yep.
I believe this is the last year of sponsorship for the Farmers as well. So it will be interesting to see who picks up the sponsorship next year. But the big storyline, Brooks is back. They just announced that he's going to be paired with Max Homa and Ludwig Oberg for the first and second rounds. They're both previous winners. I'm curious to see how ticket sales increased
Yeah.
after they announced that he was going to be playing, but I think it's good. I'm glad he's playing. I mean, I'm going on Saturday, so I hope he makes the
Yeah.
cut and I'll be able to see him. But for those who are not familiar with how the Farmers work, so Torrey Pines has a north and a south course. They switch off on Thursday and Friday, and then the final 2 rounds are played on the south course. The south course is north course is challenging too, but the south course is, well, it's a championship course, so it's
Yeah.
meant to play a little harder. And I have played Torrey Pines the week before the tournament, and the rough is roughin'.
It is.
Even the first cut, the rough is probably about 4 inches. And when I was out there playing, obviously we don't hit the fairway, you go into the rough. It was like an Easter egg hunt trying to find my ball. I was like, oh no, I'm lost over here. But everyone was lost, so I felt a
Yeah.
little bit better that everyone was trying to find their balls. But funny story, when I first went to the Farmers, the first year that I moved to San Diego, I went with my brother and his family, and we didn't know about and I didn't know the layout of the course yet. So
Yeah.
we went to post up on what was the 10th hole of the North course, and we were wondering why nobody was standing around like waiting for the pairings to come around. And
Mhm.
a guy came up to us and he was like, "Yeah, this is 10th hole on the North course." And we're like, "Oh, okay." So from then on,
Oops.
never made that mistake again.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you're going to the tournament this week, Thursday is North, Friday is South, and then Saturday, Sunday is South. So know before you
Perfect.
go.
Make sure you go to
Oh,
the South one on Saturday.
yeah. And there's just so much history with Torrey Pines. I actually wrote a blog article about it in my Back Nine blog last year. And I read about this in the Forum magazine for the Southern California, I forget, is it SCGA? Southern California Golf Association. Yeah, SCGA magazine that they come out every month, and kind of read up on the history that I didn't know about Torrey Pines. In
Mhm.
World War II, it was an army base, and World War II, there was a bombing of Pearl Harbor. So it was one of the bases that was meant to help protect the West Coast after the bombing of Pearl Harbor. And then somewhere along the way, they were thinking of making it a racetrack, like a motorcar racetrack, which would be super weird just thinking about it, like how it would be today. And then the powers that be got involved and they got some architects and turned it into a golf course. So it's kind of cool to hear the history of Torrey Pines. And we both found out the Torrey Pine is the rarest of all the pines in the United States. The Torrey Pines Natural Reserve is the protecting body of said Torrey Pine. You can see
Mhm.
a few of them lined out throughout the course. And one thing I knew from playing Torrey Pines, but I've heard it mentioned a few times, is that Torrey Pines has some of the toughest greens in the
Mhm.
United States. The South course has a particular grass that they use that they don't use on the North course, but it's a weird grass that creates bumps and weird things happening. And
Mhm.
I saw a stat that the PGA Tour players actually see a 5 to 8% decrease in their putting percentages when they play Torrey Pines, which I could
Interesting.
personally attest to because I always have the most 3 putts at Torrey Pines. There's no escaping. You think you can read the green, and
And you can't.
I'm not a great green reader to begin with. Revert back to my round on Sunday. But I do see more 3 putts at Torrey Pines than I do at any other course I play. So
Yeah.
I can personally attest to the decrease in putting performance at Torrey Pines.
So, Torrey Pines, the greens are greening and the roughs are roughing.
Yep. That is facts. Yeah. And I know they always make the rough harder for, the tournaments. Yeah,
Yeah.
to see it firsthand, yeah, it's like halfway up my shin in a rough.
No,
So
thank you.
it's probably taller than 4 inches actually. And then Torrey Pines has hosted 2 U.S. Opens, 2008, which for those who follow golf, that was the year that Tiger and Rocco Mediate went into a playoff. That was one of Tiger's most iconic wins. And then in 2021, John Rahm won his first major at that US Open at Torrey Pines. I'm actually surprised that more majors haven't been played at Torrey. I say the same thing about Riviera. I'm surprised more majors haven't been played there, but I know there's a bunch of courses across the US. So, but yeah, so I'm
Oh,
excited to go there on a nice sunny day. We usually
yeah.
post up on the 8th hole. I don't want to give away my secret. Well, fine, I won't gatekeep. But if you go to the 8th hole of the South Course, there's the Dobell area, and they have stands where you can sit at high tops. The 8th hole is a par 3, so you kind of see a bunch of groups come through. You get the Paloma, the Ace Paloma, the fun crafty drinks. You just sit
Love that.
there, sip some drinks, watch some golf. So just if you see me show up there, just save me a seat. Just scooch aside.
Yeah.
Save me a
Yep.
seat. So I'm excited to check that out and see what happens with Brooks. But the field's stacked. Besides the absence
Yeah.
of Scotty, which we'll get to later, and Rory, I think all of a
Mhm.
bunch of big names from the PGA are playing this weekend, and they'll be nice
Yeah.
and toasty.
It should be good. I'm excited to hear all
Yep.
about it.
Yes, I will debrief in our
Mhm.
next episode.
Perfect.
Speaking of Mr. Scotty Scheffler,
Scotty
first start of
boy,
the year, first one of the year, easy peasy. It's just that easy for Scotty.
he just crushes the ball. Like, and I don't know, he just makes it look easy. And he's just talking about
Consistency, man.
humble. He's consistent. You don't ever see I mean, you'll see him like when he gets mad, but it
But
takes a
not
lot.
really.
But not really. Like, he's so even keel. Like, I feel like even when he got arrested, he was like, I mean, they'll get me out of here. Like,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah. He was
he's
like,
Scotty.
I was just driving through. I had a pass.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's just so mild-mannered, I guess is
Mhm.
the way to put it. But I think he also has a great perspective on life.
Yeah.
He is a competitor, but he knows that golf is not the most important thing in his life. His
Yeah.
family is obviously the most important thing. But yeah, kind of like Tommy Fleetwood, they just have really good perspectives and
Mhm.
demeanor when they approach press conferences and things like that. So definitely someone to look up to in that
Yeah.
regard.
Mr. Cool, calm, and collected.
Yeah. But third weekend to the year, my gosh, 20th PGA Tour win for Scotty, which earns him lifetime membership to the PGA Tour. He's the third quickest to do it after Tiger and Jack. Who are they?
Mhm.
I mean,
Yeah.
$100 million in career earnings. Only the third person to do it behind Tiger and Rory.
Mhm.
And there is a baby Scheffler on the way, or babies.
Yeah.
We don't know. There's
We
rumors that
haven't
there's twins, but we
right.
don't know.
Nope.
And of course, I went down the rabbit hole. I went back to the Ryder Cup photos to see,
Mhm.
and no, it didn't pop. It didn't clock on anyone's radar then.
No.
But she didn't look pregnant.
No.
No signs of. But if she was at that time and it was early, these babies could be, or babies could
Yeah.
be coming around the time of the Masters
Another
again.
Masters baby for the Scheffler family.
Which when Bennett was
Yep.
about to be born, he said that he would leave
Yeah.
to go be with Meredith when this baby was born.
As he should. You're
So,
29 and you have already earned $100 million.
yeah, you have tour membership for the rest of your life, $100 million. Your
Yeah.
family is growing. America's first golf family
Yeah.
is thriving in
Yes.
2026. Like I said before, everyone just forfeit. Just
Yeah.
give him the Grand Slam at this point. But I wonder if because you know how people are saying once Rory got the Grand Slam, he won the Masters. It seems like he let his foot off the gas a little
Mhm.
bit. I wonder if that would be the same. And I don't think Rory has done that. I think
Yeah.
he just had to reset his priorities, and I think he was just so focused on when he may not say it all the time, but he wanted
Yeah.
to get that Masters, and he was so focused in on it. And I think once all the pressure was let off
Mhm.
of that, he just had to reevaluate, where do I go now? Like, what are my
Right.
goals now that I reached this huge thing that I've been trying to accomplish for the last 10 years?
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if Scotty gets the Slam this year, what his
Yeah.
jeez, reprioritization is going to be in what his golf goals will
Yeah.
be. Also, I wonder how much Ted Scott is making now because that man, Ted Scott is Scotty's
Yeah.
caddy for those who don't know, how much he is is
Crushing it. Like, he is absolutely, like, the highest paid caddy.
for sure. And him and Scotty seem
They've
to have
been
a really good balance
Yeah.
and relationship from what I can see.
I was gonna
Obviously, I'm
say, I
not
feel
there,
like
but
they've been together for a long time too.
yeah. If you were to have a caddy, what
Yeah.
would you look for? I know this is an off the cuff question. I've thought about it before. Like, what kind of person? Because the caddies have to know
Honestly,
when to say things,
yeah,
like when to pump you up, and it's dependent on the person's
yeah,
personality, right?
yeah. I mean, honestly, probably be you. Because one, you
Checks.
understand golf. Two, you're gonna tell me to get it together.
Yeah. You need someone who's going to be honest with you, but
Yeah,
in a loving way.
right. And it's like to be able to say something and you can be like, that just sucked. And I'd be like, you're right. What do I do? How can I change this? So, yeah, I mean, I think it's all someone who would give constructive criticism very well
The right moments.
at the right moments and how effectively communicating, not
Mhm.
just saying, but like, maybe a little bit more to the left. It's like golf, you're so precise. It's like, well, you have to aim. Well, maybe this isn't the best job for you.
Oh, yeah, because my aim, not great. Well, I could tell you to aim for the TV tower if you need to go that direction. I
Aim
just
three
personally
yards
can't
to the
aim myself
left.
or 15 in my case. But I don't know, maybe we need to find we don't need to find a PGA Tour caddy, but maybe
Yeah,
if we found someone who has been a caddy or knows the caddy world, that would be interesting. Because there's
yeah.
also things they can't say. They can't say outright certain things like,
Mhm.
"Oh," because the player at the end of the day has to make the decisions. They can't say I don't think they can say, "Use your 3 wood now," or "Use your
Yeah,
7 iron now." Like, the player has to make that decision. The caddy just kinda guides the conditions and things like that. So, yeah, if you're a caddy out there and you wanna be on the
yeah.
podcast and give us the insights to what makes an effective caddy and what you can and cannot do out there on the course,
Holla.
we would love to have you. Drop a
Mhm.
DM on the gram. But besides Scotty,
Yeah.
the other big story from the weekend was Blades Brown, who
Blades.
yeah, first of all, the name is epic. I wanna ask his parents how they kinda came up with
Yeah.
Blades, but he shot a course record 60.
Mhm.
The Amex, which I didn't know at the time because I was looking at the leaderboard and Blades and Scotty were 1 and 2 after Saturday, and then I looked at or sorry, after Friday, and I looked at Saturday's pairings, and I was like, "How come they're not paired together?" But
Mhm.
the Amex, they play 3 different courses. They play 2 of the PGA West courses, and they play La Quinta Country Club. So this is one of the tournaments where the cut is weird. It's a 3-day cut. So they just had the
Mhm.
final pairings on Sunday. So it was Blades, Scotty, and Siwoo Kim. Siwoo was actually leading going into the final round, and then Scotty just
Took
Scottied.
off. Yeah.
And yeah. Ooh, that should be a new verb, Scottied.
Scottied. Mhm. Mhm.
And he won, but yeah, 18-year-old just slinging it out there with the best of the best. And
Crazy.
when he was interviewed after the round, he just hyped up Scotty and said it was a privilege to play with the number one in the
Mhm.
world and how Scotty's a great person. So talking about being humble and raising your kids
Mhm.
right and just having that good perspective, I thought
And
he
respect.
gave, yeah, respect. Scotty's not even an OG. He's not even 30 yet, but you know.
Not even 30, but you respect, like, he's one of the best that has ever lived, right? And he will
Yeah.
definitely go down with
Generational
that,
talent.
so, yeah.
And he's I don't know if he'll do it, but he's because Tiger had I don't remember what the number is, but an exorbitant amount of weeks at number 1, and I think
Mhm.
Scotty is at 140 something, but that's
Yeah,
halfway well, I guess if you do the math, halfway to Tiger's. So I don't know. We'll see if
yeah.
he that one's gonna be a toughie, but if he keeps playing, I feel like he should be able to.
As long as he stays healthy and doesn't have any crazy back issues or car accidents like our good old Tiger Woods did, like,
Yeah.
I think he should be good.
Yeah, I think they said 2027 was the year that he would do it if he
Wow.
is it 27 to one of the next couple years,
Yeah.
obviously, 52 weeks in a year,
Yeah.
do the math. But,
Yeah.
yeah, so it'll be interesting to see if he hits that record too.
It
And
will.
then, yeah, lastly, the LPGA kicks off this week. It's the Hilton I keep wanting to say Hilton Honors because of all of their Hilton Honors commercials that I see all the time, but it's the Hilton Grand Vacations
Yes.
Tournament of Champions. They're playing, in Orlando or Lake Nona, which is Orlando adjacent.
Yeah.
Lake Nona Golf and Country Club. And it's the LPGA Tour winners from the past 2 seasons. So all the big names will be there. Nelly, Charlie, Lydia, bunch of
Awesome.
others. And they also have a Pro-Am, which I was looking at the Pro-Am list, and a lot of the
Uh,
celebs that played in the Lake Tahoe tournament that I went to last year are also
yeah.
playing in this. A lot of bachelors. Wells, Joey. I think there was
Okay.
one other one, but yeah, apparently a lot of the bachelors are into. I love Wells.
Yeah.
I want to say he's so nice, but I don't even know him personally. But he just
Yeah.
seems so nice,
Yeah.
and he always gives it up. Gives Sarah Hyland her flowers, which
Mhm.
I love.
Mhm.
But I love Wells. And he has a good personality too. Yeah, so LPGA is underway. We'll see how that goes, but it'll be good to be reporting on more women's golf.
Yeah.
And Alex Morgan's investment group just
Yeah.
signed on to support BUTGL. I think they're the biggest investor for that. So again, women supporting women
Yes.
just
And
out here.
women OG, like you said, we grew up with Alex Morgan and the path that she's carved for women, and now she's giving back. We love to see it.
So I think we're going to end on that happy note and that happy message. Sorry, jeez. Wow. Women supporting women, and be kind. Be kind,
Yes.
people. We need a
Be
little more
kind.
kindness in the world, and it doesn't cost you anything to be kind.
Be
Just
kind, be
just do it,
empathetic.
Nike.
Yeah, and just smile at someone. Like, a smile goes a long way. You never know what someone's dealing with, so
Yeah. So happy birthday again, Amanda. I hope you
thank
have a
you.
wonderful year ahead because you deserve it. Well, you're my bestie. You deserve the world. But yeah, so we will
Lots
see you
of
all, yeah, on
That's
our
to say
next
lots of
episode.
podcasts to come.
Yeah. And if you have any topics or anything you want us to cover, or if you're catty, want to come on and give us the tea, let us know. But yeah, we'll see you all on our next episode. Talk to you soon.